You ready? Let's go. Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged.
What we're doing is taking people's phones for a little while. We're going to try and, so because I don't know if you called anyone or made any phone calls or anything like that. What we do in an investigation like this is we try.
You heard that part? I don't know if you made any phone calls or talked to anybody or anything like that. Well, we do now. We do now. We know the whole thing about them being out the entire night after this up until the phone call to the cops or the phone call to their friends is a lie. Their phones ratted them out.
Collect as much information as we can. Okay. Anything that might be small, you may not think is important for us to find out what happened, but is very crucial. So taking something off your phone might be extremely useful for us, even if it's something that you don't realize. Okay. And we'll try to get that phone back to you as fast as we can. Okay. Is that okay with you? Okay. So this is your phone here?
Yeah, can I tell my mom?
That's fine. That's your mom. Yep. And then what am I?
Yeah, he's not good. And this is Blaker. This is the one who has the copy and paste version of Payne's PCA, where they apparently both get there at 4 o'clock that we found out was a freaking lie. His version of the story, the narrative, is the one that got sent to all of the warrants. The arrest warrant in Pennsylvania, the warrant for the search of Kohberger's apartment and of his office. This guy, not the one that we see from Payne, Blaker's, which has always been odd to me. Why is Blaker's the one that got sent out for everything official, but the one that got released to the public is Payne's? Why? Why was it Blaker's the one that we all got? It makes no sense to me.
What I need is your passcode. From your phone, or here between the two of us, we can even turn off your passcode, okay?
This is just them trying to figure out how to deactivate her passcode, and it sounds like she doesn't know how to do it, so he just gets the passcode from her. Which I'm pretty sure that's what we already read in the report.
How do you take them? Oh.
You figured it out? Okay. And if it won't let you do it, that's fine. You can just give me or tell me your password.
I just don't know my.
See, I don't know what that was where she said, I just don't know my what. What do you mean you don't know your what? Because you're going to give him the passcode. I don't know if she has an iPhone or not. I'm going to assume she has an iPhone because like every phone in this case besides Kohberger seems to be an iPhone. I don't know crap about an iPhone. Is there like some sort of like secondary password, like your iPhone account password that you have to like type in order to remove your passcode? Because for Samsung phones or anything that's an Android, like I've never had to do that. It's like bio, you know. You're saying yours is your face. Sometimes it's a password or it could be a pattern. Maybe she doesn't know her Apple ID. Or, okay, maybe. Okay. So maybe she's just saying she doesn't know her like additional password. Yeah, for mine, that's how you do it. Okay, well, she's claiming that she doesn't know something in order to be able to deactivate it, so now she's just given the code over to them. So much silence in this whole thing. I saw somebody's comment earlier about like the sound of silence and all the blankety blank blanks, and I'm like, damn, if the sound of silence isn't like perfect for like a documentary about this case, the sound of silence, because everything is blanked out, everything is freaking redacted, there's no truth, there's no answers. That's literally like the perfect title for this entire thing. Someone's probably going to take it, get the copyright information, or not really copyright because it's already done by Disturbed and like several other, but get like permission to use that for this. Somebody big's probably going to do that because that is pretty perfect. Yeah, it was like that's perfect. It's honestly perfect.
And what type of
See, all the silence is so stupid. This is a freaking adult, bro.
Can I see my mom text me real quick?
All right. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay.
documentary about the blank that was the blank at the blank. That's like the biggest sentence in all these reports. Blank was a blank at the blank in the blank. It's ridiculous.
Any social media you have, like Facebook or
Yeah. See, they're blocking out all of her social media information, but like everybody already knows this. Everybody went and found all of this information from her in the beginning. I wish like it wasn't so messed up, because then like maybe somebody could read lips. Anybody in here read bearded lips?
Any other social media type sites?
Any other social media type sites, and she answers some more stuff. He's gonna ask her in a second, are those the big ones? What does that mean? I guess like the main ones? Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Blank or it didn't happen. I do, because I'm 37. Yeah. Plus it's like freaking beautiful. Damn if that song wasn't done so well by them. See? Why silence just it? What's the point? Some of this stuff is honestly like they went too far. The fact that this is how far they've gone in this is insane. Blank.
Those are the big ones.
Yeah.
The big one.
All right. So
Well, did
we're
he
gonna try to
say
go back and try
that
to-
was the big one, or those are the big ones? Because I could have sworn it was those were the big ones. Maybe I need both ears.
Those are the big ones.
Yeah.
See, to me, it sounds like those are the big ones.
So we're gonna try to go back and try to get a little bit of a timeline, okay? So what did you guys do last night? More specifically, if you were by yourself and not with a group?
See, this is so stupid. Like, we know that they went to the whites. We know at this point the majority of the timeline. Like, it's in the police reports they've already publicly released. So if she's just regurgitating the same timeline that we've already been told in the police reports, then why are they doing all this silent shit? That makes no sense.
Ethan was in the house, so it's been
So you're with
one of them is my roommates, and one of them is her boyfriend.
Okay. So you're with Ethan
And Xana.
Xana? Can you spell that for me?
Xany. Or ANA, sorry.
Xana.
NA.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw some of y'all saying something about that. I mean, she literally did like introduce herself according to the stuff that we've read. Hi, I'm Xana, like Xanax without the X. So maybe Xanny, I know it comes from a really insane case a lot of people know about. But maybe that's like a nickname that people gave her because of her making, light of her own name, maybe. I don't think anything bad about it. I just think maybe it's a nickname because of what we've already heard.
Okay. So I'm just trying to. Sometimes it helps me put names together. So you were with Ethan and Xana last night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they blank out Sigma Chi, but he says it later
And you know
on.
Ethan's last name?
Chapin. I don't know how to spell it.
That's fine. And Xana's last name?
Kernodle.
You know spell it?
Yeah, she's been living with her and knowing her for a while now, but she calls her Kernodle. Which I just found that part interesting, because shouldn't you at least know like the last name correctly of the person that you're living with? I found that part odd.
I think it's Kern. Oh, maybe another OD, LA or something like that.
Okay. Okay, so you're within the same. What time did you guys get to Sigma Chi last night?
Around 8 something. Maybe 8:30.
So 8:30 p.m.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. And prior to that, were you guys just at your house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you left from your house.
Ethan was at formal because he went with his sister because she didn't have a date. And then we were just hanging out at our house. And then he came over and we all walked over together.
Okay, so that was you, Ethan, Xana. Was there another person with you? Or just the three of you that
Maddie
walked over?
walked over with us.
So that's about as far into any like newish type information that we really get with that. Honestly, that Ethan went over there and they walked over. I don't really quite understand the like they walked over thing, considering that both of the vehicles that Ethan had access to were there in the King Road parking lot. So I wish that we had a little bit more detail on that, because the way that the book says is that Hunter and Ethan dropped off their sister. And again, this is interviews with Emily, with people that have talked to these people, and with the Chapins themselves. That's where this information's coming from. But y'all already know how I feel about that. Let's just start with that. The book states that after Hunga Dunga situation was over, they drop off their sister. They went into her sorority house, grabbed some sandwiches because apparently they needed to make that little detail known. Then they met up with Xana at the party. This is different. This is Ethan went over to King Road. They don't say whether he drove or he walked from Sigma Chi, but then he walked the girls, including Maddie, over to Sigma Chi. Why do we have two different stories here? Why is the family telling us that Hunter and Ethan, according again to the interviews in this damn book, went to the party and Xana was already at the party? Because that's the story. This is not the story. This is completely different. Why? Why? That's an important detail. I mean, it might not really mean anything if it was or it wasn't, but why? Stupid. Stupid.
Okay, and that's
Logan.
Logan?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Did you hear that? That it was Logan?
He walked over with us.
Okay, and that's
Logan.
Logan?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Maddie?
Did she
Her
really
real
say
name is
Logan?
Madison, though.
I'm trying to like hear it for real.
Okay, so that was you.
I'm looking
Ethan,
away.
Xana.
I don't like
Was there
the
another
captions.
person with you? Or just the three of you that
Maddie
walked over?
walked over with us.
Okay, and that's
Logan.
Logan?
She does say freaking
Is it
Logan.
me?
How do you not know the names of the people your ass lives with, girl? What? Maddie Logan? I thought y'all were besties. I thought y'all were so close. Oh my God. Don't even know her freaking name. And then she says, and her real name's Madison, I believe. What do you mean you believe? You don't know? You don't know? This is wild.
DDIE?
Her real name is Madison, though, I believe.
That's just an odd statement. That you believe? I know.
So you guys all walked over to.
Yeah. Well, y'all remember that report says if these people did not live together, if they basically like didn't need housing and happened to find housing in the same house, they wouldn't be friends. They would not even like be around each other if it wasn't for a forced situation. Yeah, I can see that. That definitely sort of proves that.
You were there about 8:30. Okay. Were you guys all pretty much together, or just kind of mingling throughout the house most of the night?
We were all pretty much together, and then Maddie left to go to the club with Kaylee.
This is where we hear that Maddie walked back to King Road with like some a box of White Claws. That's been in the reports a couple times. And this is where I believe her name is Lakin. Is it Lake Lynn or Lakin? I want to say Lake Lynn. Anyway, I'll just say LM. LM is at King Road with Kaylee. Maddie shows up from the Sigma Chi party, and then they all end up getting in the car with Eric Gower. And again, what I don't understand is why Maddie and Dylan both being at Sigma Chi at some point was never said to us. Because Dylan shows up at Sigma Chi. It's in the reports. She didn't walk over with them. She didn't go over there with them. But at some point, she's over there. The person who says that she saw Dylan, and Dylan makes a statement about how she couldn't drink that night for whatever reason, that was at Sigma Chi. So I don't know why that was hidden from us. And the only thing that we ever were told was, yeah, Bethany saw them between, 8 and 9 p.m. And then that's it. Everything else just disperses and they're never talked about again. Why couldn't we just know that multiple people were at that party in that house? That doesn't make sense.
And then I was with Ethan and Xana most of the night, but then one of my friends came. Her name's Steve, and I hung out with her the rest of the night.
Okay. And who was that?
Her name's Yes.
Can you spell it for me? Okay. And his last name?
I don't know how to pronounce it. And her
Okay, so is it a dude or a chick? Because he just said his last name and everything else right here keeps saying her.
together, and then Maddie left to go to the club with Kaylee. And then I was with Ethan and Xana most of the night, but then one of my friends came.
Yeah, the captions are shit, bro.
Her name is Steve, and
It is a her.
her the rest of the night.
It is a
And
her.
who was that?
Her name is Yes.
Can you spell it for me? Okay. And his last name?
I don't know how to pronounce it, and her full name is bigger than that.
Okay, that's fine. Do you have a phone number for her?
Yeah.
It's in the phone. Okay.
It is a woman. Okay.
Okay, so you were with,
Mm-hmm.
and at that point, Ethan and
And then I
Xana
was
were just kind of hanging out still at the house?
Mhm.
Okay.
And then I went to our other friend's house.
Okay. What time was that at? Okay, so you were with,
Mm-hmm.
and at that point, Ethan and
And then I
Xana
was
were just kind of hanging out still at the house?
Mhm.
Okay.
And then I went to our other friend's house.
Okay. What time was that at?
I don't know, maybe like 12-ish. I could be wrong.
That's fine.
There's really like maybe 2 reports about this. So whenever she's like explaining this part of it, like I don't have like the visuals I normally do from like the reports that we've read. All I remember is like the like timeline that we're sort of given about like Dylan getting there around 1:15 with somebody, with a girl, and then Bethany showing up by herself, Vampire Diaries and all that other stuff. But all of this, I don't know which report this stuff is in. That's why, again, I'm going back and indexing everything so that we can compare stuff.
And where's that house at?
It's just like up the street. I don't know that address.
Okay, up the street from,
Sigma Chi.
Okay.
Kind of.
so you guys are at Sigma Chi, so you're walking back towards,
We're walking back towards my house and then look up this way.
so like when you got to Taylor Street, you went up? So if you walk all the way from Sigma News,
Or Sigma.
Sigma Chi, sorry.
Sigma News. What? I didn't understand where he even got that from. The first time I listened to this, I was like, what the frick is Sigma News?
Yeah. You know the apartments, the whites?
Yep, I know the Whites.
It's like that street, that way.
So on Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know roughly where on Taylor? Or does she live maybe on one of the other off streets?
It's on Taylor, but like one of the end houses by the intersection. I don't know how to explain it.
All right.
So you can't explain exactly like where you were. Shouldn't that be like a red flag? If you can't like precisely say exactly where you were, you can't give an address. That should be a problem. If she was a dude, this would be a problem.
Okay. And whose house is it that you went to?
It's, and I don't know their other roommate.
She just said the other roommate, and the caption said their roommate. Yeah, the captions are all jacked up.
And
That's YouTube for you. Ooh, can we tell who that is that just walked past the door? I didn't even notice that last time. Can I pause it on time? Ooh. That looks like a guy that almost looks like Steve Goncalves with a mustache. But we know that he wasn't there because they sat on their asses and didn't leave their house. Oh, I wonder if that's Dollinger. I think but did he have a mustache back then? I'm not even going to pretend like I know. I'm just knowing what my eyes are looking at is a fuzzy Steve Goncalves with a mustache. But again, we know he wasn't there. And I think that guy had a hoodie on.
Okay. All right. So you and
Maybe
here at this
Gunderson.
house. How long were you here?
Maybe like 40 minutes.
Okay.
And then I left by myself and went back to my house.
She walked
So
by
you walked
herself.
home maybe around 1.
Middle of the freaking
Yeah.
night. I'd whip my daughter's ass. I don't care how old you are. Goddamn.
Okay. What did you see when you got home?
We're sitting on the couch watching Vampire Diaries.
See, there was so much noise, so much movement that it blocked out everything that she just said there. And it just goes to, we're sitting on the couch watching Vampire Diaries. I want to know from you if Dylan and her friend were already there or if you got home before Dylan. We know the story we have so far, but paper everywhere screwed up the entire thing. And he never backtracks, has her repeat anything. It's insane.
No one else was home yet.
Mm-hmm.
See right there where she says no one else was home yet? That means no one else, as in Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, Ethan. This is regarding her and Dylan and the friend already being there. That's why I wish that they would have done better with this, because it doesn't do us any good.
And is another roommate or what's last name?
She's in that room.
Oh, okay.
She's in that room. Okay, talking about Dylan.
And
I actually don't remember her last name right now.
that's fine. And does live with you guys too, or just
She's
visit?
a friend.
Okay.
And then she left.
Do you know what time she left at? But you were all watching.
Vampire Diaries.
Okay. And anything happened during that time period?
We were just hanging out.
Okay. Do you know who else was in the house at that time?
No one.
No one? Just the three of you? Okay. So let's go a little bit more then. What happened next?
Maddie and Kaylee came home from the club, left.
See, Maddie and Kaylee came home from the club and the friend left. That's the opposite of what we've sort of been told. Simply based on the fact that the friend claims that she left to walk home and her walk took like, 15-ish minutes or so? And she's not claiming to have seen, ran into, heard them getting home, saw them before she left, nothing like that. So it's like she would have just had to have missed them. She would have had to have just left right before they got there. But she's giving it in the opposite. But the friend is claiming she didn't see Maddie and Kaylee get home. How are we supposed to know which is which?
Maddie and who?
Kaylee.
Kaylee? Okay. And they got home from the club. You know what time that might have been?
I think I told one of the cops that was talking to me at the house, like, better times.
Okay.
I don't really remember.
You told him better times because you were able to look at your phone, and now you're not allowed to, so now you're playing the I don't know game.
Right now, maybe like
Okay.
2 something, 1.
And see, 2 something 1, 2 we heard before. I don't understand why they ever told us 1:45, because the 1:56 time that we got from the family is so much closer to 2 o'clock, and they said that in the body cam too. So it's the cops that screwed up that part. That's my conclusion on that.
So if you got home around 1, that would have put them
Like
in
1:45, 2, something like that.
So near bar break? You have to guess?
What?
Like near bar break?
What does that mean?
Bars normally close at 2 o'clock here.
Oh, yeah. They went to Grub Truck after, so I
Okay.
don't know.
See, that should say they went to Grub Truck after, and it says something about they went to Garage after. This YouTube, for as much money as YouTube makes, you think that their AI for captions would be better than this.
Grub Truck after, so.
Okay.
See, Garage.
Okay. What did you do after that, after Maddie and Kaylee got home?
We all hung out in Kaylee's room for a little.
How long is a little? Because there's now like this mysterious 17-minute phone call and her not being the one to take her own dog out that we didn't know about before. So how long is a little?
And we talked, and then Maddie and I took Murphy out to pee the dog.
See, she said to pee, and it says Murphy after he.
And then I said I was going to go to bed because I was tired, and she said she was going to go to bed too. And then I went to my room. I was going to sleep, and she came and knocked and asked if I had Murphy, and I said no. And then
Now, the original report said that that was around 2:30 that happened, that Maddie came down and asked her specifically in her room about Murphy.
and I went to bed.
Okay. So what time did you think you took Murphy out?
Like 2:30.
2:30.
See, she says 3, and then the caption says 2:30. But does she say 2:30, which who the frick gives times backwards? Or is she saying 3:30?
And then I went to bed.
Okay. So what time did you think you took Murphy out?
Like 2:30.
She does say
3:30.
2:30. Why would you say it backwards?
And where do you normally take Murphy to go to the bathroom?
Just to the back door in the
Okay.
kitchen.
So which one is 1122? So if I'm coming up King Road.
See, right here. Right here is where you know exactly the question we need to ask about the timeline, because we don't know if Payne and Blaker went before they ended up doing interviews at Moscow PD. All we know is that sometime in the 1:30-ish time frame, someone called both Blaker and Payne to MPD to start doing interviews because people were start showing up for interviews. We only know that they were already on scene before 4 p.m. because Talbot said at 2:47, whenever he got there, Blaker, this guy right here, starts regurgitating a bunch of bullshit to him about what happened, apparently, what they were told. And he is the one who tells Talbot something about Dylan claiming to have heard the male voice say Kaylee's name. If Dylan is in that room over there, that means that she's being talked to by somebody else than Blaker. So if Blaker was not at the scene, because at this point it is 2 p.m., and he's asking, well, which one is the house? Meaning he hasn't gone to the crime scene yet. So how is he the one that's telling Talbot any information about Dylan or anything else if it doesn't seem like he ever had the chance to speak to her? He wasn't there during the original stuff that was happening with Nunes and Gunderson and all of them for him to then regurgitate that so incorrectly. And it would tell me that he went to the scene with Payne fairly quickly after these interviews were done and over with, but you can't tell me that these were the only people that needed to be interviewed, because right here it's 2:00. I don't understand again why the timeline for these two people that are in the PCAs for everything that happened that was important and signed off on, why their timeline is so misconstrued everywhere. But this tells you here right now that at this point, he had not gone to the scene. So at least that part so far matches up, but that's pretty much about it.
It's the big white house.
All the way to the very top on the right?
Well, it's technically on Queen, but the address is King.
Okay. So is it the one that's tucked back as you're going up to 500 Clean Road? Those big apartments? It's kind of tucked back just a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you normally go out the back deck then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I know how Josh you're at then. Okay. So you go there.
See, he didn't say anything about Josh. These captions are shit.
You and Maddie take the dog out.
Mm-hmm.
Then how long do you think that took?
I was out there for maybe like 10 seconds.
Okay.
See, like, I don't even know, like, why'd you even go outside if you were literally just, like, went out there to, like, what? Tell her you were going to bed? What was the point? If that's true.
Okay. So then you both come back in. So you and Maddie both
I
come
came
back
in before she did.
Okay. Did Maddie still have the dog then?
Yes, I think so.
So you went out for a little bit, came back in. Do you know what time Maddie came back in?
Mm-hmm.
And you went straight to bed when you came back in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long after you went to bed do you think Maddie came in?
Actually, I came in, grabbed some chips, went to my room, and watched the show for a little, and then I went to bed.
What were you watching?
It's called Baby Daddy.
Okay. How long do you think you watched it?
Maybe like 30 minutes.
So one episode maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like a half.
Okay. And did Maddie come in during that show or after?
She just knocked on.
See, I'm going to assume that it would have had to have been after 2:10 that they would have taken the dog out, because at 2:10 is whenever Dylan is messaging Eric Gower to see if he's out driving still, and he responds back at 2:13. So it would have had to have been after 2:10, after 2:13 that they took the dog out. for that to make any sense. If that part's, we know that part's accurate because we have the downloads. I mean, I guess it could have been before. But the way that Hitler put it in the order is that they were all basically up there talking. So it would have had to have been after those messages got sent.
My door, I think during last, I had Murphy next to me.
Okay. Then what happened after that?
I just went to bed, and then.
So, but that would tell me that she went to sleep closer to 3, because she stayed up to watch an episode of that show. I've always said that if anybody was really asleep, I think it would have probably been Maddie and Bethany, probably, because we do know that she went into her room for a little while. But for her to then continue to say stuff like how I was half asleep, I don't know. I don't believe you. I don't believe you, because you get woken up to a firecracker. You're calling all kinds of people throughout the house. You're having conversations on the phone. You're texting people. You're checking social media. Your ass ain't half asleep. Your brain is at full 100%. You're going. So that's another thing that I'm just like, why do you keep pretending that that's the case? We see your movements. That's not at all the situation.
I woke up and I was like half asleep, and I thought I saw like a firework or something, like it just sparkled like under my door, and I thought I heard like something kind of fall, and then Murphy barked, but I thought people were just making like food, like.
Oh, did you see that? It says. Did y'all see that? Hold on. Let it play.
Okay. Then what happened after that?
Well, I didn't know I could move my captions. That's
I
wild.
just went to bed, and then I woke up and I was like half asleep, and I thought I saw like a firework or
Yeah.
something.
Watch.
Like it just sparkled like under my door.
Shouldn't be laughing, but
I
bro.
heard like something kind of fall, and then Murphy barked, but I thought.
It says Murphy fart. Poor Murphy. Don't do that to Murphy, YouTube. What's wrong with you?
People were just making like food, like anything was here or something, and knocked something over because he's usually loud in the kitchen upstairs.
See? Kitchen upstairs. Noise in the kitchen. I find it so freaking interesting that in the Amazon series, when Emily is talking and Josie is talking, and they're talking about Dylan being a little cry wolf baby, that they talk about how she calls people to have their boyfriends come over and check the house simply because she hears a pot fall in the kitchen. Then we have this little story from Bethany about, oh, maybe it was just something in the kitchen. But then she says, Ethan's always loud in the kitchen. So why would Dylan be a cry wolf about pots falling in the kitchen or noises in the kitchen if her roommate's then claiming that they know that Dylan makes a lot of noise in the kitchen? I'm just finding that the similarities to things interesting. Because again, apparently Dylan called for somebody to come and check on shit constantly, except for the one night she actually heard some shit going down. I think that shit makes some sense.
So what do you mean by you heard a firework?
It sounded like a little firework, and then there was like a spark. I went by I'm on the bottom floor.
Okay.
So it kind of looked like it came down there, but I don't know.
And see, I don't know what in the frick that possibly could have been. I have no idea what that could have possibly been. Because even if the DoorDasher used a flash and plopped the food down at that time frame or whatever, it wouldn't have been loud enough to wake her up. It wouldn't have sounded like a firecracker. And there's way too much wall, turns, steps, all kinds of shit in the way that the sounds would have to go through. And there's no way Home Chick's phone was that loud to where it clicked with the camera and it sounded like a freaking firecracker, and the flash from the camera was what the sparkly thingy was. That's impossible. I've seen some people entertaining them. That's literally, physically, physiologically, everything. Impossible. So I'd love to know what the frick this was. Was it a taser being dropped? Because we know that Dylan claims that she reached for her taser. So I've questioned that. This whole part right here, a firecracker sparkles just because of where her door actually is. It's just very freaking strange. Or that. It could have been that too. Camera will make you motion
So is
sick.
Murphy your dog?
Kaylee's dog.
Kaylee's dog?
Kaylee and her ex-boyfriend's dog.
Okay. So you heard Murphy bark. right after you heard what you thought was a firecracker?
Yeah, something like that. But he like, I don't know, dogs bark at random things. And sometimes when he's happy, he'll bark.
Okay. It didn't sound like an angry growl or anything like that, just a bark?
I don't really know. I was like half asleep.
Okay.
I just sounded like bark.
So, hear the firework, kind of see a spark underneath the door.
Mm-hmm.
Murphy barks. What did you hear after that?
Pretty much nothing.
Nothing.
That's it.
Okay. And you thought maybe someone was just in the kitchen at that point?
Yeah, just like someone accidentally fell into the table or something.
Okay.
Someone accidentally fell into the table or something. The table is not set up. Oh, I guess. Okay, so then she's thinking about the wooden table. Is she thinking about the wooden table? Maybe we were thinking about the wrong table. I think is she thinking about the wooden table in the window that like everything from the kitchen sink got moved to? And maybe we've been thinking about the ping pong table and that's not the table she was talking about. But that's not because that police report was really shittily written. Because if she's talking about more in the kitchen, I think it would be the tall wooden table. And that being moved around because it's obviously going to be heavier than the pong table in my brain. Would make a louder noise. And that would keep that in the kitchen where she's claiming that she hears stuff anyway. And remember all of the Amito black that's on the kitchen counter. I know that some people are like, yeah, it could have been cheese and chicken and all these other things. Okay, so they just like straight up hella nasty and don't know how to wipe a counter down. No, all of them would have died of salmonella by now, I think, if that was the case. So I don't believe that at all. It would have had to have been the wooden table.
And she was like, Murphy.
You know about what time that might have been?
Oh, there could have been. There was 8 hours in between the incident and the call. So yeah, there could have been.
Like 4 or something. I tried to call all of them at like 4:20ish around that time, and no one was answering. I thought they just went to bed or something.
Okay.
See, so she says she hears it around 4 o'clock, but she waits until 4:20 to start calling everybody. But you didn't hear anything else. That's not true. That's impossible. Like actually impossible.
What happened after that?
And called me, and she said she thinks she saw someone. And I didn't know like really what to think of it because sometimes we think we hear things a lot in the house, but it's usually just Ethan walking around. But she came. I told her to come to my room and she could sleep with me and we could lock the door, just stay in there just in case if there was anything.
Just in case. So you're telling me that we're supposed to believe that you didn't hear the screaming and the struggling and all the things that Dylan claims to have heard, even though we've had people that used to live in that house, males and females alike, come out and say that house was paper thin. You could hear everything. You're not going to have screaming and fighting and all this crap going on and you don't hear it, but you hear something like a little sparkler underneath your door. No, ma'am. No, if you can hear the barking, you could hear the screaming. No. Then we're also supposed to believe that after all this crazy shit, Dylan didn't go down there and say how she saw Xana on the floor because Homesick doesn't mention anything about that either. Literally nothing. Also doesn't mention anything about Dylan saying she heard this and that and everything else as far as I can remember. It's just like, yeah, and then we went to bed. That was it. But it wasn't. But it wasn't.
I fell back asleep.
You didn't hear anything else?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No one else talking? Okay. Did you make it to your room then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What time do you think she got in your room?
Around like 4:20, 4:30.
Okay, about the same time.
Yeah.
Where's her room located to yours?
I'm the only one on the bottom floor, right by the front door.
Okay.
And then you go up the stairs. And Xana's room, and Xana's room, the kitchen, and then upstairs is Maddie Mogen's room.
Okay. And where's the wardrobe?
Right by the kitchen.
Right by the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did she say anything to you when she got into the room?
She said she thought she saw a man, but I didn't know what to think of it. I was like, still half asleep, and I was like,
See, I was still half asleep. No, you were not. You're sitting there calling everyone. You say you're calling everybody in the house. We also know that you were on like snap maps looking for people and all kinds of stuff. Why are they letting them lie? Why are they letting them lie? I mean, maybe at this point they really just have no freaking clue. Okay, I guess that's maybe possible. But once everything that they started saying started being like unraveled and they found out that they were freaking lying about everything, well, why was nobody gonna like do shit about it? Like what? You're lying to a police officer. You're lying. Both of them lied to a cop. I don't understand.
I don't know. It didn't sound like I didn't hear screams. I didn't hear anything. I don't really know.
Okay. And did she say anything to you when she got into the room?
She said she thought she saw a man, but I didn't know what to think of it. I was like, still half asleep, and I was like, I don't know. It didn't sound like I didn't hear screams. I didn't hear anything. I don't really know.
Okay.
And the whole thing about like seeing somebody, that might have been like repeated when she got down there, but that was something they talked about on the phone, obviously, because just like the Barnharts would have pretend like, oh, there's something nefarious because a link was sent from Brian's mother to him, but there's no context, there's no nothing because they were on the phone. Well, they were on the phone, and then all of a sudden you get some random ass message about how Xana was wearing all black, because obviously they were discussing how the person that they saw, or Dylan saw, was wearing all black. So that was something that happened before Dylan got down there. So if she's going to repeat that, then why wouldn't she repeat the rest of it? The hearing of the screaming and calling out Kaylee's name. You're also sitting here trying to tell me that you don't hear Dylan screaming out Kaylee's name and trying to get her attention? I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Okay. But notice that she didn't say anything more than she just saw someone.
Yeah, that's all I remember.
Okay. So your bed then, if I'm looking at the right house, you have a parking lot, front door, and your bedroom's just to the right. Okay.
And that's incorrect, isn't
and that's
it?
where you slept from by the time.
Isn't it actually off to the left? Because that's the part that I had mixed up in the photos that came out from Moscow Police Department. I thought that she was off to the right, but that's like the basement. After we went in and I actually like looked at stuff a little bit closer. Because the way that they had stuff, like the way that the pictures looked, it's as if it would have been. But I'm pretty sure that hers was off to the right. Let me make sure. Yeah, it was off to the right. Because see, these are her curtains right here. No, this is left. Did she say left or right? Let me go back one more time.
You have a parking lot, front door, and your bedroom's just to the right. Okay.
Yeah, the right is the basement.
And that's where you
See, the right is the basement area from the door. So she's off to the left. She even says, See what I mean? Like, she just agrees with whatever the freaking cop says. That's not accurate. Door, left is the base, right is the basement, left is her room, because hers is the white curtains. I had that part wrong already. I had to fix it.
You slept from by the time you finally got into your room around 4-ish or so. Actually, before that.
So like 3 something.
Yeah. So you were in there sleeping.
I can only assume because of the way that her phone is up against the wall and the way that this microphone is, that's her phone buzzing. I'm assuming it's her phone.
Okay. Dylan got to your room maybe somewhere around 4:20-ish, but Dylan was already home at that point.
She just said, what, 4:20-ish? One more time. What you doing?
Actually, before that. Front door. Okay. So your bed then, if I'm looking at the right house, you have a parking lot, front door, and your bedroom's just to the right.
No.
Okay.
Incorrect.
And that's where you slept from by the time you finally got into your room around 4-ish or so. Actually, before that.
So like 3 something.
Yeah.
No, this is flipped. I had to flip this for fair use so nobody could tell me shit about shit. I downloaded it, flipped it, and put a filter on it. So that's why I'm going based off of his words more than anything else.
So you were in there sleeping. Okay. Dylan got to your room maybe somewhere around 4:20-ish, but Dylan was already home at that point. You knew that Maddie got to your room maybe somewhere in there sleeping. Okay. Dylan got to your room maybe somewhere around 4:20-ish, but Dylan was already home at that point.
Dylan got to your room somewhere around 4:20-ish, but Dylan was already home at some point. Or what? What? That's why I kept going back to. I'm like, what the hell is he trying to say? One more time.
Yeah. So you were in there sleeping. Okay. Dylan got to your room maybe somewhere around 4:20ish, but Dylan was already home at that point.
I'm assuming she's home if you're saying that she went down to Bethany's room at 4:20. This is a cop. I guess I don't have to pass any IQ tests.
You knew that Maddie and Kaylee were home. Do you know when anyone else in the house got home?
I don't know when Xana or Eva got home. I didn't hear them come in or anything.
Okay.
And she's at the front door. So if they would have come into the front door and something like a firecracker and a little like sparkle thingy woke her up, I have a feeling that maybe like the front door being open maybe and people like walking up the stairs would have maybe woke her up. But it's also possible they came in through the back slider.
Okay. And last time you saw Xana and Ethan was at the Sigma Chi's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He said Sigma Chi house and the caption said same guys.
So
I love how they've blurred her out of existence. Like, why is that much blurring actually necessary? And if you notice, like, it wasn't as bad, like, what minute around 16, 15? Look right here, how it's like you can see her a little bit more, but then, like, it doesn't take long before they just ixnay her out completely. I don't, it's just insane.
So did you see anything weird at the party?
Just normal.
Okay. And seems how the way they're set up, where everyone hanging out primarily up in the main common room area, or most people hanging out in individual rooms and stuff like that.
It was a little bit of a mixture at first. It was in the like apartments, and then
But notice that he like knows the layout of the Sigma Chi house. He's talking about like the common areas and how there's like different spaces to go to. So he knows that spot.
it was the main room.
Okay.
And then as I was leaving, I wanted to grab a backpack from our friend's room, and Xana and Ethan were sitting on the couch just listening
The backpacks normally are filled with alcohol, according to the most recent reports.
to music.
Okay. And that was up in the main room, or that was in
I was in an apartment.
That was in an apartment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you hear of anything that happened to anybody?
Mm-mm.
Was there anyone strange or odd hanging around the party?
Mm-mm.
Notice she's not fully answering the question. She's done this a lot, pretty much like throughout the entire interview. If she can say, she's going to say it. And I'm pretty sure she was advised to say the least amount you possibly can. Because it's like all she ever says.
Do you know of anybody in your house that has an issue with anyone? Any ex-boyfriends? Anything like that?
All their ex-boyfriends were really nice, and they're still our good friends.
Can't relate.
Have you ever had any of your roommates complain about anyone stalking them?
Mm-mm.
Notice that instantly. Her reactionary answer is, Then she has to backtrack.
Once though, Kaylee said when everyone was like gone, me and we were at the sorority house for a meeting, and it was like Kaylee, and she was taking Murphy out to pee. This was a while ago, and she said she swears she saw someone staring at her while she was taking the dog out to pee from the
Remember how long
backyard.
ago that was?
Maybe like a month.
So back in October.
She could see like a man's silhouette like staring at her.
You think it was about a month ago?
Mm-hmm.
Before Halloween.
Did Kaylee have any issues with anyone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we're just not going to ask, anything else important here. He's completely stumped on what to do.
None of them have made any comments or statements of anyone trying to come onto them or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
you said that all of the ex-boyfriends and that, they're all normally very nice and stuff like that. Are any of them for any recent breakups?
One, but
Sorry, be a little bit. Can you give me a little information on that one?
his name's he lives
Okay.
down the street.
On Taylor?
On King, I think.
Okay.
And he and Kaylee share Murphy.
Okay.
And they dated for 7 years.
And that's
One thing I do find interesting is that there's houses sort of like, really honestly, like the same distance. If you really like pay attention to like the map, technically like the same distance away from 1122 that claims to have like heard Murphy barking that night. How the frick did Jack not hear his own dog barking? I don't see how he couldn't have. Unless his excuse was like he was just so out of it, but I don't even believe that anymore because of that 17-minute phone call that they've been lying to us about.
Kaylee?
Or something like that.
And they did it for 7 years?
Something like that. Since high school. Their families are really close too.
Okay. And they shared Murphy?
I think.
Okay. How long did they break up?
Maybe like 3 months or something.
And remember, he himself, Jack, emailed the Dean of Students office because he was severely depressed. Severely depressed. They were extremely worried about him after talking to him on the phone the next day.
They're still on really good terms.
Do you know why they broke up?
She was going to move to like, Texas.
Listen for it.
Where's Kaylee from?
Portland.
Okay. Where is it from?
Portland.
Okay. Okay. You said that they're still on good terms, they still talk to
Very
each
good
other?
terms, yeah.
Okay. Has Kaylee been seeing anyone else lately?
Not really that I know of.
Okay.
See, she's lying right there. We have a couple of reports that obviously claim that she was seeing like at least like 3 other guys. Like she'd gone on dates with at least 3 other guys that were in like the college circuit. I don't know if they were all Greek, but they were definitely in the college circuit. And one of the guys is in the report claiming that he'd been over to the King Roadhouse with Kaylee like a couple times, if I'm remembering correctly. So unless Bethany just happened to be gone magically every single time he was over there, then she's lying for some reason.
Do you know when she was going to move to Texas?
After this semester. But then apparently she wasn't going to anymore. I don't know.
Do you know what changed your mind?
I think she wanted to stay here with all of us.
Y'all heard that? She's the only person to have ever said this. So the next person that has a YouTube channel that talks to the freaking Goncalveses, yeah, I'm talking to you, Trashly. You better ask the Goncalveses about this right here. Because all of a sudden she changed her mind all over again and no one has said a word. If this is true, it's interesting.
Okay. Do you know when she was going to move to Texas?
After this semester. But then apparently she wasn't going to anymore. I don't know.
Do you know what changed your mind?
I think she wanted to stay here with all of us.
But her and Jack still weren't back together, but the only reason they broke up was because she was moving. And then what? I'd never heard this before. Insane stuff. Insane stuff.
Okay. Is there anything else you think is important for me to know?
Yeah, where'd your education come from? Because you're horrible
You
at
might
this.
remember things later. That's very normal, okay? If you think you remember anything else, please reach back out to us. We'll bring you back in and we'll get that information, okay?
Only thing she reached out for
Go back to my notes real quick before you go, okay? Okay. And you don't remember Kaylee's last name?
Goncalves.
Goncalves?
Yeah, Goncalves.
It says Gazald. What?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Get your ace together, bro.
Okay. All right. And yeah, I very much thank you for sitting down with me, okay? I'm going to take you back to the other room so you can be with your friends, all right? You sure there's nothing else?
Yes, go be back with your friends that were there during the 911 call and back with Dylan so y'all could get y'all stories straight instead of keeping them separated the way you should. That's the most you see of her right there. Can I catch it? Probably. Yeah, just her hair. And that's it. Please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already.